Welcome to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where you can learn and be inspired by real-world examples of how technology is transforming businesses and reshaping industries in a language everyone can understand. Here is your host, Neil C. Hughes.
Welcome back to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast, where every day I invite you to join me in learning more about how technology is transforming our world. But my curiosity also takes me to areas that you don't automatically associate with tech. And then, of course, we'll wash it all down with a good old-fashioned human story behind the tech success. And a company called Dialight is the world leader in industrial LED lighting technology. And its solutions are currently supporting over 2 million LED fixtures globally. And in 2020, Dialight announced the permanent appointment of its first ever female CEO, Fairyal Khanbabi, who has already demonstrated great success in her early months in the C-suite. For example, the creation of the Dialight Foundation, a non-profit arm of Dialight aiming to transform the lives of people most in need in local communities where the company does business, all with a focus on supporting children and youth causes. And in 2020 alone, during a global pandemic, the foundation raised over $61,000, more than tripling its initial fundraising goal. And as someone that loves promoting how technology works best when it brings people together, I'm excited to ask you to buckle up and hold on tight, because today I'm going to be beaming your ears all the way to London so we can speak with Fairyal about her journey and career in technology. So a massive warm welcome to the show. Can you tell the listeners a little about who you are and what you do?
Well, thank you very much for having me. I'm Fairyal Khanbabi, the CEO at Dialight PLC. We're a publicly listed company on the London Stock Exchange, and actually the global leader in sustainable LED lighting for industrial applications. Dialight's LED products are providing the next generation of lighting solutions. We deliver reduced energy consumption and basically create a safer working environment. And just to tell you a little bit about myself, I'm a chartered accountant by profession and have spent the past 5 years as CFO of Dialight before taking my current position, which, believe it or not, was a week before the world went into total lockdown. So it's coming up to this is my 1 year anniversary this week.
Well, first of all, congratulations on your 1 year anniversary. And that's although this is a tech podcast and I'm passionate about the technology and everything, one of the things that I really love is learning more about the very human stories behind it. And like you said, in 2020, Dialight did announce you as the first ever female CEO. So I've got to ask, can you tell me more about your tech leadership story and where your love of technology came from?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm fascinated by new technologies. I mean, if you look at how much technology has transformed the world from economic to social aspects, and LED, if you just look at lighting, it's such an important part of our lives. I mean, the progress in solid state lighting based on LED technology has been breathtaking over the past 10 years. I mean, the introduction of LED as a light source was a revolutionary event in the history of electrical lighting. And in the age of IoT, our lighting infrastructure has the opportunity to become something really valuable, whether it's helping us conserve energy, collecting data, helping us use our space more efficiently. And we at Dialight have been pioneers in this market. But what really, really excites me about technology is that technology will be what will solve our global climate crisis. We have a huge global challenge, much larger than the impact of COVID-19. I mean, there is no vaccine for the climate crisis. And being part of a company that's doing its part to solve that climate crisis through technology, I find extremely powerful.
Yeah, me too. And I've got to admit, before you came on the podcast today, I always like to do a little bit of research on my guests, and I quickly learned a few stories from your childhood. And I don't want to reveal too much now, but how do you think your, let's say, unconventional childhood helped mold you and your CEO mindset?
Well, you are correct. I did have a very unconventional childhood. My father was a captain early on in his career, so I spent till the age of 8 living on board a cargo vessel, traveling the world with my mother teaching me on board. We then moved to Hong Kong, where my father started his own business. I mean, he was extremely influential in my life and was my real mentor. He ran a very successful business, family, and above all, integrity was so important to him. And having that as an example when you're growing up leaves a huge mark. And I believe that, being a successful CEO, especially in a company like Dialight, which is innovative, you have to have that entrepreneurial mindset, that can-do attitude, think outside of the box and be adaptable. And so being unconventional in my childhood has really helped mold that mindset.
Love that. And I think people might think of the lighting industry and tech world as an entirely male-centered industry. So can you tell me more about your passion for raising awareness for female leaders and bringing in much-needed change into the industry?
So, Neil, this is an area that I'm hugely passionate about, having spent practically all of my career being the only woman at the board table. I mean, there is an underrepresentation of women in leadership positions in all sectors of the world, and that's a problem. Yeah. Companies can't afford to ignore 50% of the potential workforce and expect to be competitive in a global economy. And actually embracing those gender diversity enables women to bring skills, different perspectives, cultural, structural changes to drive solutions that are in companies that are occupied by men. And of course, not all women have the same leadership styles, but generally, women bring a range of qualities that modern leaders need: self-awareness, emotional intelligence, humility, authenticity. And I think the new generation of employees need that constant feedback. They like having relationships with their managers. They want better work-life balance. I mean, we at Dialight, we draw real strength from our diversity. And I believe we're the only listed company in the UK with a 50-50 split between men and women at the board level. And working to bring those women into a leadership position is really important. I mean, it's the change that we need, and we need to mentor them. But but I think as a woman in this type of career, you have to hold your own. You have to have a good sense of humor, and you have to be able to laugh at yourself, and you definitely have to be strong-willed. And I think really the most important message I can give is we have to encourage other women and remember, you've earned your spot. So you have to be confident and inspire other women to do the same. So we're very, very passionate about it, Dialight.
I completely agree with you there. And I've got to say, I mean, there is so much work that needs to be done still, but we have got things are moving in the right direction. But I'm curious, looking back, how have you seen attitudes evolve in the tech industry over the years in your career?
Well, there's three real shifts I see in the industry, and actually COVID has probably accelerated them. Firstly, I think sustainability is coming to the top of all corporate agendas. Secondly, I think it's about improving the well-being of your workforce. And thirdly, it's about social responsibility. And I'll just elaborate a little bit more on those. Customers are more and more focused on sustainable solutions. I mean, the forced economic shutdowns really acted as an accelerant for the adoption of technology, digital infrastructure, and sustainability is much higher up on everyone's agenda to make sure we're all reducing our carbon footprint. And then secondly, there's a lot more competition from employers in the marketplace So you have to provide an environment that is conducive to the development of your employees. And it's about the quality of work, the work-life balance. And the third one I see very much is, as the younger generation comes into the workforce, they demand more from the companies that they work for. They want companies that take diversity and their social responsibility seriously, and it's not just paying lip service to it. I mean, for us at Dialight, we are built on the sustainable needs of our customer base. Industrial companies are investing in economically viable sustainability initiatives to reduce energy, reduce waste, improve the well-being of the workforce. And we strive to create that sustainable growth, find innovative ways to deploy our capital to address the global challenges. And we do understand that our prosperity is linked to the communities we serve and the challenges they face. Therefore, the value we create must be shared to be sustainable in the long term.
Absolutely. And as for Dialight, you guys are the world's leader in LED industrial lighting technology. So I've got to ask, how is technology transforming the world of LED industrial lighting technology? Because I think it's one of those things that many people listening will take for granted, but just do not hear about the transformational qualities behind it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so our exclusive integrated lighting solutions produce lighting that is uniquely tailored to the application and is more responsive to its environment. Lighting that maximizes performance and quality while driving out waste and inefficiency. Industrial facilities that use energy efficient lighting solutions not only reduce costs, but create an efficient and safe working environment. Customers want to have solutions that integrate into their building management services, help track productivity. It's no longer about switching your lights on and off. I mean, we see that in the residential space. I mean, who would have thought, we'd all be living with Alexa in, a few years back. Yeah. I mean, and I really think technology is transforming this space by constantly pushing the boundaries for more efficient, smart solutions. One of the biggest challenges the lighting industry has faced previously was the compatibility between control systems and LED fixtures, but that boundary has gone now. So, yeah, there is a lot of transformation going on in this space.
And something I always try and ask every guest is around myths and misconceptions that they may encounter in their industry that might frustrate the hell out of them. So are there any myths around LED industrial lighting technology that you would like to finally lay to rest today?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as the adoption of the industrial LED lighting technology grows, so does the competition. Yeah. And all manufacturers are fighting to differentiate their products. Unfortunately, some manufacturers are hanging their hats on performance claims that don't really tell the whole story. Lumens per watt has been the new battleground differentiator in this space, and lumens per watt refers to the energy efficiency of lighting, how much visible light you get for the given amount of electricity. And manufacturers claiming to offer the highest lumen per watt rating are working really hard to convince buyers that this is the primary factor in the purchase decision. However, the truth is there are many factors that need to be considered. And one of the things that we believe is most important is the longevity of the fixture. We at Dialight have an industry-leading 10-year warranty that is backed by our own power supply. It's also important to look at the optics of a fixture. Glare can hinder workers' productivity. Getting the optics right means getting light to the areas that you want. So you can actually reduce the number of lights that you need. So we believe that it's a combination of all these factors that make a great product, not just lumens per watt.
I completely agree. And I suspect that you are monitoring trends in the industry and seeing where things are heading. So is there anything in particular that excites you on the road ahead?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm a very, very strong advocate of sustainability. And And the lighting industry is really taking the lead here by delivering significant energy saving for lighting products and systems. The industry is also got a great track record for prolonging the lifetime of the products, recycling, reducing the amount of hazardous substances. And I believe that sustainability will be the single biggest factor in accelerating the conversion to LED lighting. At Dialight, we are very passionate about playing our part to build a fairer, more resilient world. The transition to net zero carbon is both an opportunity and an obligation for us, and we are really excited about pushing the boundaries of innovation to meet these goals.
I completely agree with you there. It seems that more and more guests are saying the same thing as well. I had Epson on last week and they were talking about the importance of sustainability across its entire product range. It is such a huge topic right now and for all the right reasons. But I appreciate you probably can't share too much, but is there anything you can share about what's next for you at Dialight?
Oh, there's plenty for us. We recognize, as a company, we have a part to play in the community and environments that we operate in. And, COVID-19 has presented such unprecedented challenges to the business and the world, but it also presented us with an opportunity to demonstrate our resiliency, our compassion, and our strength. And we met these challenges and used them for a catalyst for change. We prioritized the health and well-being of our employees, ensured we operated our businesses effectively, and continued to help our customers reach those carbon goals. We created our Dialight Foundation in the middle of the pandemic. COVID-19 caused such real hardship, and our largest workforce is in Mexico, and we believe not just being a good employer, but giving something back to the communities in which we live in. So we did a lot of work with people within our own facility that were going through a hard time, but also with the local orphanage. And we intend on progressing the good work that we've done into 2021, into some of the other regions where we have a presence, such as Asia. We also continue to develop our product portfolio. The world is changing, the market dynamics are changing, and be generating even more products that help our customers save energy. And we're focused, as I said earlier, on reducing our own carbon footprint by reducing our raw material inputs, increasing the energy efficiency in our own facilities. And, we're pursuing all these goals while increasing the integration of digital technology in all areas of our business. And we believe it's our responsibility to lighten the impact on the environment and to be a place where the best people come to do their best work. And our current financial strength and our commitment to a sustainable future really provides us with an opportunity to grow, innovate, and really capture a rapidly growing market opportunity before us. So we feel extremely excited about what's ahead of us.
Excellent. And for anybody listening that would like to delve into the work that you're doing there, learning more about LED industrial lighting technology, what's the best way of finding you online and also contacting your team if they are left with any questions?
Yeah, all the contact details are on our website, dialight.com. We have two websites on there, an investor site for our investor community, but a great range of all of our products, case studies, white papers. You'll find plenty to read on there.
Excellent. Well, I'll add all those links to the blog post just so people can find Dialight nice and easily on the internet. But more than anything, just thank you so much for taking the time to come on here and sharing your story and also your passion for raising awareness for female leaders in the once male-centered industrial lighting industry and tech world, and also telling us more about the great work you're doing at Dialight. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you very much.
Fairyal attributes much of her leadership skills to her early childhood, where she lived on that shipping vessel as the only 8-year-old amongst a crew of mostly adult men. And as she was talking there at the beginning of the podcast, it was through that unique upbringing that she learned to thrive as the only woman in a male-focused workplace, but also where she experienced her first of many C-level management lessons that have made her that fantastic business leader that she is today, and a truly inspirational story. And stories like this are why I record 10 interviews a week. I love technology. I'm passionate about tech trends, etc., and how it's changing the world. But I also love the human stories behind those tech successes even more. So do you or anyone you know have a similar story? Or do you simply have a question or an insight to share? Whatever it is, please email me, techblogwriter@outlook.com. You can send me an audio message or a DM on LinkedIn, Instagram or Twitter simply at Neil C. Hughes. And you can also visit my website where you'll find over 1,500 interviews that should keep you quiet and out of mischief. And please, if you can spare a moment, please take that phone that you've got in front of you right now and rate and review this podcast on whatever platform that you listen, as it really does help the show stand out against those dreaded algorithms. But more than anything, just a big thank you for listening. And until next time, don't be a stranger.
Thank you for listening to the Tech Talks Daily Podcast with Neil C. Hughes. Remember, technology works best when it brings people together.